The first siren wasn't just a sound. It was a shockwave that rattled Tehran to its core. In that moment, the city's pulse skipped, and every heartbeat seemed to echo with uncertainty. The familiar hum of traffic, the distant calls of street vendors, the laughter drifting from open windows. All of it was swallowed by the wail of warning. It was as if the city itself was holding its breath, waiting for what would come next. In an instant, the city's familiar rhythms vanished, replaced by a single command: get underground. Streets emptied as if by magic, and the only movement was a tide of people surging toward the metro stations and basements, driven by instinct and fear. The city above faded into silence, while below, a new world was forming. We flooded into metro stations, basements, and parking garages. Spaces of modern life turned into primitive shelters. The places we once hurried through on our daily commutes became our sanctuaries, our only refuge from the chaos above. People clutched bags hastily packed with essentials, their faces a mix of confusion and determination. Above, the world burned. Below, we became a new society, bound by fear and flickering hope. The distant rumble of explosions and the acrid scent of smoke seeped through the cracks, reminders of the world we'd left behind. Yet, in the dim light, we found ourselves forging new bonds, clinging to the hope that this nightmare would end. The transformation was jarring. Yesterday, Tubkhane station was a blur of commuters. Today, it's a makeshift dormitory. The benches once reserved for brief pauses now cradled sleeping bodies, and the tiled floors became beds for families who had nowhere else to go. Families huddled on blankets, possessions in plastic bags, under the cold glow of emergency lights. The air was thick with anxiety, but also with the quiet resolve of people determined to endure. Every corner was claimed, every inch of space transformed into a temporary home. Children, oblivious to the danger, played between the crowds, their laughter a strange comfort. Their games echoed off the concrete walls, a reminder of innocence and resilience even in the darkest times. For a moment, their joy softened the edges of fear. In those first hours, we were strangers pressed together, but a silent understanding grew. We shared glances that spoke volumes, acknowledging our shared fate. The boundaries that once separated us, age, background, beliefs, seemed to dissolve in the face of crisis. A nod, a helping hand, a shared glance. Suddenly, we were all Tehranis, united by crisis. People offered food, water, and comfort to those in need, forging connections that would have seemed impossible just days before. In the darkness, kindness became our currency. Fear was constant, but so was resilience. Faces reflected a spectrum of emotions: terror, exhaustion, but also a fierce determination to survive. Each person drew strength from those around them, finding courage in the collective will to endure. As hours turned to days, small acts of courage and kindness took root. Volunteers emerged from the crowd, distributing water, blankets, and hope. These gestures, though simple, became lifelines, reminders that humanity could persist even in the harshest conditions. We were no longer just individuals. We were a community, surviving together in the darkness. Stories were shared, fears voiced, and comfort given freely. In the absence of sunlight, we found warmth in each other's presence. In the depths, a fragile hope began to grow. Even as uncertainty loomed, we learned to believe in the possibility of dawn. The city beneath the city became a testament to our endurance and to the quiet, stubborn hope that refused to be extinguished. The metro stations became our new neighborhoods, strange and familiar at once, where the pulse of the city beat beneath the earth. Each platform echoed with the footsteps of thousands, all seeking shelter, all searching for a sense of belonging in the dimly lit corridors. Each stop had its own rhythm of survival. At Azadi, pride lingered in the air, a stubborn resilience that refused to fade, even as the world above changed forever. At Tajrish, a quiet shock prevailed, the silence heavy with memories of what was lost, and the uncertainty of what lay ahead. Social barriers faded as we all adapted to life below. People who might never have spoken above ground now shared stories, food, and hope, united by necessity and the simple will to endure. Days were measured not by sunlight, but by distant explosions and the trembling of the ground. The outside world became a memory, replaced by the constant hum of trains and the flicker of emergency lights. In terror, strangers reached for each other, hands held, children shielded. Fear was a constant companion, but so was compassion, as we learned to lean on one another in the darkness. The children adapted fastest, inventing games from scraps and filling tunnels with laughter. Their resilience reminded us that even in the bleakest moments, joy could still be found. An old teacher told epic tales, giving kids a world of heroes to escape to. His stories wove a tapestry of hope, helping young and old alike to dream beyond the concrete walls. The silent trains became monuments to endurance, platforms, our beds. We slept in shifts, listening for the next warning, always half awake, always ready to move. The air was stale, the fear real, but we drew strength from each other. Every shared glance, every whispered word became a lifeline in the gloom. In the metro of a million souls, we were not alone. We became a single beating heart, surviving together beneath the city we once called home. We waited for the day we could reclaim our city, holding on to hope with every passing hour, every distant rumble above. Underground, we found unity and survival. We shared what little we had, forging bonds that would outlast the darkness. Hope persisted, even in the dark. In the depths of the metro, we discovered the true meaning of community and the unbreakable spirit of a million souls. Money lost its meaning underground. Kindness became our true currency. A thermos of tea, a piece of bread, a spare blanket. These were treasures. Strangers became allies, sharing what little they had. A student shared her phone's battery. A baker made bread for children, asking nothing in return. Small acts of generosity became our shield against fear. We became our own first responders, learning that compassion grows the more it's given. The airstrikes tried to break us, but instead, our bonds grew stronger. We rediscovered collective identity, not just as neighbors, but as partners in survival. The currency of kindness was more powerful than any weapon. In the metro's shadows, humanity endured. Even as bombs fell, artists refused silence. Tehran's underground art scene adapted, thriving in the shadows. Art became a lifeline, a way to process trauma and remember who we were. In a basement, a band filmmaker screened The Siren on a bedsheet. For 90 minutes, the war faded, replaced by shared stories and hope. These screenings were more than entertainment. They preserved culture and sparked resistance. After each film, people discussed fear, resilience, and the meaning of survival. Despite the risks, the need for art outweighed the danger. Celluloid dreams flickered in the dark, a promise that imagination could create light. Our stories mattered, even in the deepest shadows. Art kept hope alive. The hunger for words was as real as hunger for food. With the internet blocked, books became our portals and companions. Secret book clubs met in metro corners reading poetry and forbidden novels. A literature professor read Farrokhzad's poems, her voice steady amid fear. Books sparked conversations about love, loss, and identity, reminding us of a different Iran. Sharing stories became an act of hope and defiance. Even as our world shrank, our inner worlds expanded. The life of the mind became our sanctuary. The war wasn't just in the sky, it paralyzed the city. Roads out of Tehran became endless traffic jams, fuel ran out, dreams of escape died. The city was a cage, its streets empty but for ambulances and military vehicles. The Grand Bazaar, centuries old, was locked tight, a chilling symbol. Panic spread, shelves emptied as people hoarded essentials. Then came the silence. The internet was cut, replaced by a digital prison. We were isolated, unable to reach loved ones or verify rumors. The blackout bred fear and mistrust, making us feel like ghosts in our own city. This silent siege was as terrifying as the bombs. It was an attack on our ability to connect and know the truth. In the darkness, we clung to each other. In the blackout, the human network revived. News traveled by whispers. A shortwave radio broadcast became gospel, passed from person to person, distorted but vital. Parviz, a motorcycle courier, risked his life to deliver messages, food and hope across the city. A simple note, "I am safe, I love you," meant everything. The isolation was heavy, but sharing worries with sheltermates brought comfort. We learned to listen, to value face-to-face connection, to trust our community. The whispers were more than news. They were resistance. We refused to be silenced, asserting our existence underground. Disconnected from the world, we became more connected to each other. In the darkness, our bonds grew stronger. Amidst fear and closure, small pockets of life endured. The Grand Bazaar, once a bustling artery of Tehran, now stood eerily silent, its ancient corridors echoing with memories of laughter and commerce. Yet even in this quiet, a stubborn resilience flickered. Hossein, a tea merchant whose family had worked these stalls for generations, kept his shop's samovar burning in the shuttered Grand Bazaar. Each morning he would unlock his small shop, light the coals, and let the fragrant steam drift into the empty halls. He offered tea to rescue workers, neighbors, and couriers, a quiet act of defiance. In a city gripped by uncertainty, his gesture was a reminder that kindness could still flow, even when commerce could not. His shop became a sanctuary, a place to share news and warmth. People gathered in hushed voices, exchanging stories and worries, finding comfort in the simple ritual of tea. Hossein's ritual was a promise. Some things would endure. The samovar's steady flame was a beacon, a symbol that life, though changed, would not be extinguished. He told me, "The bazaar is the people. Without us, these walls are just stone and wood. It's our spirit that gives them meaning." As long as one of us is here, Tehran's heart still beats. The city's pulse, he believed, was measured not in noise or trade, but in the courage to gather and care for one another. His tea honored a legacy of perseverance, linking past and present. Each cup was a tribute to those who came before, and a gift to those who would come after. That single flame represented the spirit of Tehranis, choosing hope over fear. In the darkest moments, it was a small, steady light that refused to go out. Ordinary people, through small acts, kept the city's soul alive. Their resilience was woven into every gesture, every shared cup, every whispered word of encouragement. Hossein's tea didn't end the war, but it warmed the soul. It reminded us that even in hardship, humanity could be found in the simplest of offerings. In those days, that was victory enough. A single flame, a shared cup, and the unbroken spirit of a city refusing to surrender to despair. Today, August 19th, we emerge into the sunlight. Tehran is scarred, but standing. Survivors climb from the underground, ready to rebuild. We carry memories of fear, but also the lessons of unity. The city's spirit lives in its people, not its monuments. True resilience was found in shared bread, whispered poems, and comforting hands. The airstrikes tried to break us, but forged us together instead. Our greatest strength is each other. The bonds formed in darkness are now our foundation. We are no longer strangers, but a community that weathered the storm. The real story of Tehran is one of human connection and quiet courage. The scars remain, but hope endures. We are still here, and we will rise.